Hello everybody, this is Matthew from therighttrader.com. We're going to be giving everyone a little bit of time to come hop in the stream over here. So please just welcome everybody and stay patient while we wait for everybody to join this stream, and we'll be taking a look at the Bitcoin price, Ethereum price, a couple other altcoins. Right now Bitcoin is at 20,300 just about, so we will be like I said, giving a little bit of time for everybody here to hop into the stream. So just be patient, just a couple more seconds till we wait and give everyone time to join the beginning of the stream. Now go ahead and leave a huge like as we wait for people to slowly join the stream, and we will begin our analysis on Bitcoin shortly, and then we're going to follow that up with an analysis of Ethereum, and we're also going to take a look at a few other altcoins. We have things like Polygon, which have seen pretty big jumps now, and many other altcoins as well. So welcome everybody. We're already at 8 people watching live, which is more than usual for this amount of time. I want to say welcome to everybody. Thank you for liking this stream already, and we will now get started with our live analysis of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is we have sort of been consolidating. If I go to the 4-hour chart, this will be more clear, but really what's happened here is we had our initial sort of crash, and we then recovered that to about our 50 moving average line, which is this orange line right here. And since then, right, we've kind of gone up and down a little bit, but overall we can see that we are sort of beginning to form a little bit of a range here. So give or take, this range is from about 19,500 to 21,000. And keep in mind, this is a very tight range. This is not necessarily to be expected to last forever or anything like that, right? This is still a very temporary range. Now, we don't know exactly how long this range is going to last, right? And we've seen us almost slip back below and start crashing again on Bitcoin. So we actually went down to 19,751 and then bounced from that. Now we're kind of in between, right? So keep in mind, anything could happen, right? We could get a bit of a slip back lower again and maybe go down to $18,000. I don't see us necessarily slipping lower than that though, even if we do go lower. And then if we go a bit higher, right, at that point we're going to be looking at much bigger levels of upside potential, considering that we are still kind of in a bear market here. We could go easily to 24, 25, even 26 to $28,000 on the upper ranges. So a lot of different things can happen, and I just want to say a huge thank you to Jagadish Shortho Kumar, leaving a almost €5 super chat. Thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it, and I will keep doing these live streams as much as all of you keep supporting them. So really thank you so much for all the great support that I've seen, and I love doing these. To be honest, I'm now doing these even more than my regular videos because it's just so much more interactive with all of you. So thank you so much for the super chat once again. And going back towards this Bitcoin analysis, right, we have several things going on. One of the things, if you watched my previous few videos that I mentioned, is, let me go ahead and clean this up real quick. I mentioned that we could be seeing the possible formation of a inverse head and shoulders formation, right? So this type of formation would plan out something like this and then lead us towards pushing ultimately a little bit higher in the shorter to medium term. Now, it has yet to fully pan out just yet. Like I said, one of the key things right now is to see if we're going to fall lower in this $20,000 range, which has kind of been happening over the last few hours at least, right? And if we move below 19,500, that could really add selling pressure, like I said, to not necessarily going and necessarily all the way down to 16,000, although it is possible, but more towards retesting some of the lows, possibly towards 18,000. So expect more volatility for Bitcoin. This is not going to be the easiest thing to read in the coming days. And if we go ahead and refresh the market cap right now, we can see that this initial bounce has been starting to cool off. We can see that we're not really starting to push more towards a $1 trillion market cap again. We're starting to flatten out around this 950 billion. And if you look at the percentage moves in the last hour and also in the last 7 days, you're going to see that in the last 7 days, we are still red on many coins. In fact, the two biggest market leading coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum, are now fully red again in the last 7 days. And there are a few exceptions in terms of altcoins, things like Solana, Shiba Inu, etc. But as you can see, the biggest coins are starting to flatten and weaken a little bit again. And even in the last hour, quite a decent amount of the coins, especially the bigger ones actually, are in the red. So you need to keep and pay attention to that. Like I said, we could still see a lot of consolidation. I'll go ahead and put in our upper resistance level here at $21,000. And thank you so much for the 20 live viewers. That's amazing. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm doing a Bitcoin analysis, and we're also going to cover Ethereum. And from there, we're going to dive afterwards into some altcoins, because we've seen some massive pumps on coins like Polygon and Uniswap, which I both mentioned actually live in these streams. Two coins that I was bullish on, and guess what's happening, right? These are some of the biggest performers in the last few days. So make sure to keep up with these live streams. I'm doing them pretty much every day, every other day. And once again, just thank you so much for all the support that we've seen. Now, for Bitcoin and Ethereum, right, we're going to go ahead and bounce over to the Ethereum chart here and see what's been going on with ETH. So a couple interesting things. We once again have, right, that same pattern that drawn out, that inverse head and shoulders pattern on the Ethereum chart as well. However, it's moving a little bit more in sharper and more extreme manners, right? So our consolidation, for one, is extremely tight. For Ethereum, we're really consolidating between 1070 up to basically on the upper end 1115. So a much tighter consolidation. What this means is that, you know, whenever we break both to the upside or to the downside, it's going to be a much more powerful move. And like I said, in terms of the upside breakout, there's a lot of room to move higher. Actually, already 55% upside potential from our current prices alone. That's not even counting, you know, from that bottom that we put in around 880. That's you know, basically a 90% pump, as crazy as that may seem, right? And keep in mind, even after getting a move like that, we can fall back lower again. Now, really, if we focus in on the last few hours specifically, what's going on right now with ETH? Well, we, you know, kind of potentially see some weakening price action. This inverse head and shoulders, right, I just ballpark drew it out, but even with that, you can see that in the last few hours alone, we've kind of been slipping out of that pattern. And you know, it's nothing too serious yet, right, because we still have some time to consolidate ahead. But if this continues too long, that's going to increase our odds of slipping back to the downside a little bit, right? So this is a matter of if we can, in the next day or two, you know, get that move to the upside, maybe at least test this blue line, which is the 100-day moving average, currently around $1,318. It's going to set us up much more easily to actually get that pump to some of the higher levels, which would be the 200-day moving average, currently sitting at right under 1,600. That's this red line right here. And then ultimately, right, coming back to these previous bits of support, or I should say, which are now going to be probably resistance, and those are around almost at $1,700 basically. So a lot of upside potential for ETH, but still need to get the confirmation of that breakout. I'll also point out that we have our orange line, our 50-day moving average, which has actually served as a very good indicator of past resistance and support. You can see over here it was heavily acting as resistance, even back here. Many times, right? We have many times where this acted as resistance, but now, right, something that is a little bit more bullish actually is we have started to establish some support on this level, and also this orange line, the 50-day moving average, has started to flatten out heavily. This can further be seen by our Bollinger Bands, both to the upside and the downside, which have, as you can see, started to flatten out, right? So this increases the odds of consolidating in this range over here, as we've talked about, but it also shows us that we are starting to establish a little bit of a consolidation support base, and also the fact that we are above this this 50-day moving average, but even more importantly, the fact that it started to flatten out is ultimately what we need to see a bit more consolidation, but then get that upside potential, right? It's very, very hard to see that happen when we're downtrending heavily on these moving averages, right? It's much more likely that once we really start to flatten out heavily, that's when we see that move higher. In fact, back here, right back in this area, we saw finally, after quite a long time, our 50-day moving average begin to flatten out. In fact, it flattened out pretty much right here at the most. And guess what happened, right? We did get that move higher. Now, of course, that wasn't an actual bottom. That was just a temporary bottom. But it did serve as getting that bounce. And I think we can see that here, but even more powerful, right? Up to those higher levels like I talked about now. On this move right here, we only got a bounce around 10%, respectable. But if we see this type of action now, you know, that could lead to 60% type bounce. So the levels are much more extreme due to this consolidation being tighter, right? Here we were still, in the grand scheme of things, downtrending, right? This is the first real time now since then where we're starting to establish much more of a range in this area right here. And like I said, this could last longer, so don't expect this to necessarily break within a day or two or a week or two. Sometimes these can last weeks and months. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen, right? These can be shorter or longer. You know, you can't ever know exactly how long it's going to be. If I had to guess right now, I'd say this could last anywhere from a week to about a month or so. You know, we are still in a time where it is kind of make it or break it for crypto. And what I mean by that is if we go back over to the Bitcoin chart, you need to keep in mind that many institutions right now are becoming insolvent, right? We saw Voyager basically announcing that they could be defaulting. And that is exactly the type of news that's going to tank prices lower potentially, or even worse, right, create mass liquidations, which is really one of the biggest concerns right now. And I'm actually going to go back to the daily chart, and what I wanted to point out was the around $13,000 to $14,000 level, right? So right around this green line that I just put in right here. In fact, I'm going to change the color of this line specifically because this line is not only a key level of support potentially, but it is also a very, very important, I'll go ahead and put it in yellow. It is a massively important level due to it being the level which will liquidate 23,000 Bitcoins, approximate market value of over $500 million for Celsius, right? And that could create massive panic selling and mass liquidations, potentially pushing us even a little bit lower, right, down to you know, 12,000 or even about $9,000 is what I'm expecting to be the peak low of this bear market. I don't know if people are, you know, potentially saying that we could fall lower than that. Anything is possible in crypto, but it seems like $9,000 is just too much of a rock bottom floor for Bitcoin. And even right now at 20,000, right, these are some very respectable pullback levels, right? In fact, I mean, if you even want to call this a pullback, we're at a 75% drop basically from the all-time high. But like I said, right, the only thing that you can kind of look at in a positive light with that is it reduces the amount of downside ahead, right? So about a 30% drop down to that $14,000 level, which is why I'm fully expecting Celsius to get liquidated. And if we were to really see, like I'm kind of expecting, about a $9,000-ish peak bottom, that's only about a 50% drop left. So there isn't that much downside left, but the little bit of downside left could be very ugly due to it really causing some sharp liquidations. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure and smash that like button. I want to get the most thumbs up that I've seen in the streams so far. I want to thank Jagged Shortho for the donation again. And I also want to thank all our live 18 viewers. Hopefully you're enjoying this video. We're going to continue our coverage, slowly jumping into altcoins. Before I do that, I want to ask all the viewers here to please share this live stream with any friends. Share it on your Twitter. I want to try and beat our previous record of 50 live viewers. So I would really appreciate the support in getting above that number. And in the meantime, I also want to ask you all to ask me any questions that you have about cryptos right now, whether that's anything about the drop, anything about potential upside. If you want to ask me anything about altcoins right now, this would definitely be the time, as we're slowly going to begin our analysis into some altcoins. So let me know down in the comments below. But just to track the Bitcoin price over here, you can see that we are actually starting to slip below $20,300. And in fact, we have been really consolidating on this level now for, if I go over even to the shorter time frame, we have a lot of consolidation in these levels, right? So any moves down to the lower bits of this range, even I'm talking down to closer to 20,100, 20,000, will likely confirm us getting a little bit of a dip lower again. So keep an eye out on that. Any move down to 20,000 and absolutely any move down below 19,500 will likely lead to a little bit of a flush out once again. So let me see if there's any new comments here that are asking me some questions. I don't see anything yet, so please, if you have any questions about the drop or you just want to mention anything, I will definitely read them. I typically see every single comment you guys send for the most part, so please, please, please let me know if there's anything you want me to cover or talk about or give you my opinion on. And also make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'll leave this page open so you can see everyone who follows from the stream, but I really appreciate all the support there. And going back to the chart here, we're going to go ahead and talk about some of these altcoins. So Polygon, massive 60% jump in 4 days. And what was that from? A pretty big Matic accumulation with an inverse head and shoulders breakout. What does that sound like to you, right? If you remember what I was talking about for Bitcoin, that was an inverse head and shoulders formation. Let's go ahead back to Ethereum, show you what we were seeing. Exactly the same thing, right? And a big inverse head and shoulders formation. And in fact, if we go over to Matic, it seems like based on that article, it actually broke out of that formation. And what do you see? We actually did. So you might be wondering, why did Matic break out of the formation and Bitcoin and Ethereum didn't? Well, it's a very, very easy reason. The reason why is because Matic already kind of hit peak bottom. In fact, I was even in the past, right, even a few months ago, I was kind of seeing that Matic could dip back down to 50 cents. But if we go back here to the shorter time frames, you'll see that we fell all the way down to 30 cents, which was actually quite a bit lower than what I expected, right? That's a difference from 50 cents of about 35%, so quite a bit more downside than I expected. We hit that rock bottom level, and from there we pushed. So right now it seems like we might be heading back all the way into that upper range over here for Matic. Let's call it between possibly 50 cents and 75 cents. So maybe this was already the peak bottom for Matic, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum have not fallen as much as some of the altcoins in previous weeks, so they're playing catch up to some of the altcoins. And in fact, Matic's chart right now is still very strong despite what we just talked about, a massive 60+% jump. Guess what? We're forming support right now on our 50 cent, or I should say 48 cent support level, and it looks like we could really use this as a springboard to even go higher right now, pretty much. If not, maybe we'll consolidate still a little bit along this line, right? But still a lot of support here and a lot of potential to continue higher into at least initially the middle levels of this range, which would bring us back into this previous consolidation. That would be about a 35% jump higher from the current prices, and from the bottom that would be an impressive 100% jump. Like I said, right, if we even go and test that previous resistance up there, that's going to be a 135% jump. So you got to pay attention to some of these altcoins. Yes, I love Bitcoin and Ethereum, but Bitcoin and Ethereum have not fallen as much, and Bitcoin and Ethereum still have major liquidations that can unfold, right? And in fact, I've talked about it before, right? As much as I love Bitcoin and Ethereum, as much as I think that these are ultimately the two strongest coins in the market in most times and in most conditions, Ethereum absolutely still has 50% downside left. Bitcoin could see a full 50% drop from here, right? Ethereum could see even more than that. Ethereum could be looking at around 75% more downside from here. However, Matic, right? Can Matic really even see another 50% drop? Well, let's take a look, right? Going back to those levels would bring us down to 35, and you know, maybe maximum would be one more 50% drop if that were to even happen in the altcoin market. Right now, it doesn't look like we're going to see another bit of a massive weakness for altcoins. If anything, we might see them continue to surprise even a little bit more to the upside, although some might start to cool off and consolidate just a little bit. We've also seen coins like Uniswap perform greatly here. In fact, the surge appears part of a recent demand for DeFi amid the current bear market. We've also seen this in DeFi platforms such as Aave and Synthetics. So this is very interesting. In fact, we can take a look at DeFi Llama, which tracks the total value locked across all major blockchains. And that's going to give us an idea of what's happening behind the scenes on many of these blockchains. So if we go ahead and take a look at blockchains overall, we can see that we're still having a lot of trouble getting more money into DeFi in the current market conditions. You got to balance this out though, and remember that we are still significantly higher from these June 2020 levels, and many coins such as Uniswap and others have fallen at or below the levels that they were at in June 2020, where DeFi was only a $2 billion market cap. We're now all the way up to 80 billion, and our peak high was almost $300 billion. I just want you to imagine, everyone here, we're hitting a peak on the stream, so this is perfect, 23 viewers. You need to realize that on the next bull market, we are probably going to see $1 trillion plus for DeFi. I just want you to think about that and imagine how much many of these coins, even the smaller protocol coins, let alone some of the bigger layer 1 blockchains such as BNB, Ethereum, Polkadot, Tron, Avalanche, right? Just imagine the valuations that we're going to see when DeFi hits $1 trillion plus. And all on that bull run, right, we're probably going to see it even go higher, potentially even to $1.3, $1.5 trillion. So many coins, especially the top DeFi protocols such as Uniswap, Curve, Aave, and others, will also see exponential gains as well, in my opinion. Now, if we take a look at Ethereum, right, also not showing the most bounce in terms of total value locked, and we're going to go ahead and slide through many of these and see if there's any that are changing the pattern compared to others. We see Tron, which is a coin that I am very bullish on. I've been talking about that. Actually, let's see if its USDD stablecoin is still a bit depegged a little bit, but it is, you know, kind of stabilizing. I really think that this is not going to completely lose peg. I'm very bullish on Tron, actually, overall. I think this could become, you know, a coin that is as big as DAI for one, if not bigger, right? So that's over a $6 billion market cap just for its stablecoin, which means that Tron will be pushing over $10 billion in market cap. And on top of that, it's blockchain itself, which I personally use often to move around exchanges. In fact, my favorite exchange, bit.com, has the Tron network integrated for many transactions, including USDT, which I always use. And make sure to check out bit.com, amazing exchange with cryptocurrency options available. Link to that in the description of this video. But like I was saying, right, Tron is actually a blockchain that, if we look at the total value locked, has not only been steadily uptrending and going up, but is now pretty much doing as good as ever before, right? If we look compared to Ethereum and BSC, some of the even bigger ones, right, these have seen very, very sharp drops in their total value locked, right? I mean, we're talking 50% plus drops bare minimum. In fact, many of these are over 60-70% drops of their total value locked, which is obviously quite bearish. Tron, however, right? And also it's been holding up better in the bear market. Not only its total value locked, but that's been directly correlated to the price it's Tron itself, which has been extremely stable. Look at that in the last 90 days, right? Barely any real volatility. We saw one little spike higher pretty much and one little dip lower, but that was about it, right? It was still very much flat in the last 90 days. If we go ahead and pull that back to the 180-day time frame, continuation of that, pretty much still extremely flat. And even in the bigger time frames, we are flat in the last year or so. But actually, if we look back previously, right, this is still a coin that's pretty much holding an uptrend for the most part. Now I still think if we see another bearish flush, we could see this coin fall a little bit lower again. You know, it wouldn't be surprising for us to see lower levels like 5 cents potentially. You know, I really have trouble seeing Tron actually fall below 5 cents again. I was going to say maybe 2.5 cents. And yes, on a peak bearish drop, you know, something like Bitcoin going down to $9,000, we could see 2.5 cents again for Tron. But right now, in the shorter term, there aren't any indications toward that. And I barely hold any Tron, so don't think that I'm trying to pump this coin or anything like that. As per usual, none of this is financial advice. But like I said, right, the fact of the matter is that Tron is showing signs of life in a bear market. Very good amount of total value locked, over $4 billion. So it's got a very good TVL to market cap ratio. Its market cap is $5.7 billion, and its total value locked is only a little bit below that at $4 billion, pretty much exactly. We're going to go over to other coins. Solana, still abysmal total value locked performance. Actually, a lot of money fleeing the Solana ecosystem here after all these outages. So this is, you know, really rock bottom total value locked levels. This is comparable to back in May of 2021. So it is much more understandable for a coin for Solana to have dropped as much as it has. And we've seen, right, most of these DeFi protocols lose a lot of total value locked. Take a look at Polygon here. Polygon, which, like I just said, has seen one of the biggest price jumps in the last 4 days, right? Massive amount of Matic accumulation and also a bullish inverse head and shoulders breakout. Keep in mind, we could see this be an early mover compared to other coins. So if we go back to the chart, we can see the breakout that we had. In fact, I drew the neckline a little bit higher here, the true neckline of this. And for those who don't know, that means the true breakout area was actually back right here around this 45 cent level. That was really the breakout, and then now we're on support. But here, this was the neckline, right? This level right here. So this neckline, once it was broken out, caused that price pump higher. And this could be an early sign and an early mover compared to some of our bigger coins like Ethereum that could see the same pattern pan out, right? And excuse this absolutely disgustingly messy chart here. We're going to go over to another cleaner chart, and I'm going to re-show you this pattern. So basically, right, we got what looks like a very similar inverse head and shoulders, exactly like we were talking about. We have our neckline right about here at $1,100 and $200. I'll go ahead and raise that just a little bit higher. So any move really above $1,200 will probably lead to a massive breakout. We talked about that potential move of over 50% to the upside from current price levels, and all we need for that really is to break above $1,200. So whether that takes a few more days or we start pumping now, look at that $1,200 level. As soon as it brokens, I am quite confident that we're going to see the full completion of the move up to $1,700. At that point up there, right, I would say it's much more likely for us to start consolidating and falling back down lower, but that hasn't happened yet. In fact, right now, we're still keeping our eyes, despite our possibility of seeing a slip a little bit lower. We also see the possibility of getting that massive pump, and then potentially, right, if you were to short this market, up here would really be a prime opportunity, right? Whereas here, while we may slip a little bit lower still, it's very easy to get a pump in your position and get liquidated in the case that you're shorting. I'm actually holding a slight leveraged long on Bitcoin right now, just to play that potential move higher if we see that happen. So hopefully that gave you a better idea of what I was talking about with Matic, which actually has still a very respectable amount of total value locked, right below $2 billion in total value locked. If we go ahead and pull up the Matic coin rankings here, strong performance in the last hour, 24 hours, 7 days. So like I said, this pump is almost continuing right now live. Market cap at $4 billion, which is not that much of a premium compared to its total value locked. And like I said, I would say an absolute peak drop for Polygon would be about 25 cents. I don't see it really going lower than that, if it is really even to flip back below to the downside again. In fact, I could see this one starting to regain a lot of TVL, so potentially going back towards about a $4 billion of total value locked quite easily here for Polygon. Still holding up very well. Kronos chain, interesting. Some ups and downs, but overall pretty flat, so actually not doing that bad. I was thinking about actually picking up a little bit of the Kronos token here at these lower levels, but I think that we could see this fall even lower, potentially, right? Like I said, if we see that $10,000 Bitcoin price, some of the smaller coins like this could fall decently lower. So, you know, for something like Kronos, it wouldn't be surprising to see it possibly move back towards that about 5 cent level, but still right now still sitting at some very, very good discount prices, especially considering that it's TVL. You know, yes, compared to the peak top, it has dropped a decent amount, but if we look back here, right, during its initial period, still very stable. Phantom, a coin that actually a lot of you had asked me about previously, we're starting to see it hit what I think is going to be its new rock bottom TVL levels, which is about $1 billion in TVL. Very, very respectable, considering it is one of the smaller layer 1 blockchains. And yes, indeed, Phantom is one of the coins that I am still very bullish on in terms of getting a big pump in the next bull market. So right now it's at 26 cents. It has a market cap of under $1 billion, and guess what? That's a huge discrepancy, because it means that its market cap is literally below its TVL. This is for a major layer 1 blockchain. That's definitely a discrepancy. Now, maybe people are pricing in some risk of the Phantom network due to the dramas that it's had, etc. But you can still see that there's a clear discrepancy between the market cap and the obviously correlating price of that, and the TVL, which is actually still at a very respectable $1 billion. And you know, this could really go flying back easily to some of the higher levels, maybe $5 billion once the bull market starts kicking back up again. Also, it is integrated with Curve and many other big protocols, so very strong blockchain overall. Waves, this is very much of a stablecoin play on USDN, I believe, and still a lot of stability. I actually really like Waves overall. So I'm not going to be going through every blockchain. If there's, of course, any one other that I haven't mentioned specifically, right, we've got a few more here near a few others. These are some of the smaller ones. I won't be going into them unless you specifically want me to take a look at any. So let me know. I'll gladly take a look. Let me know down in the comments below. But for now, we're going to keep up our analysis looking at some other coins as well. If I go back to the market cap rankings here, let's go ahead and take a look at that market cap, the total global market cap for cryptos. We're going to go over to the 7-day chart here. We can see that, yes, we were dropping, but now we've fully started to put in a little bit of a stabilization here between $900 and $950 billion of TVL. Still, right, we have been steadily dropping, though, in the last few weeks. We're starting to see a little bit of flattening out period, but keep in mind, even back here, right, we were flattening out a bit, but we started trickling back down lower again. So, you know, money will flow into different coins. That's the key thing to remember here in a chart like this is, yes, money will flow in and out of many different coins, right? We've seen money potentially leave some of the bigger coins and go into altcoins like Polygon. And maybe we've seen some of the smaller, weaker protocols, things like Solana and obviously Terra, flow maybe into other coins in the market, right? But so we're starting to hit this wall in terms of the global cryptocurrency market cap right now. And I want to take a look at the dominance of BTC. I don't know if we have a chart potentially for this. It doesn't look like it. We're currently at 41.2%. Keep a close eye on that number. We're going to be looking at how it trails in the next few days or so. It's going to be very interesting to see if we can get a strong resurgence in Bitcoin TVL, or if we're going to start to see it slip back a little bit lower again. Look at the price starting to raise now for Ethereum, and I'm sure if we go over to Bitcoin, yes indeed, this is going to be good for my leverage long position. Let me know if you want to see some leverage trading as well live, some leverage margin trading despite all the risks that are associated with that. We'll go back to one of the cleaner charts here for Bitcoin. But yes, we are still holding this range, and not only are we holding it, now we're starting to kick back up a little bit higher. Like I said, right, once we start heading up to these higher levels, it's very likely that we see that breakout above $20,000, and at that point, right, that's going to set us up to stop the bleeding, stop the downside, and really get us up to those higher levels. In case you were wondering, my take profit for my leverage position is currently set at $26,000. So I'm really expecting this pump to, at the bare minimum, go to $24,000. We do have a little bit of resistance there, but you know, we could very well go as high as $26,000 or really $28,000 to complete the pump back to the previous you know, big consolidation that we had, which was up over here. And I'll actually go ahead and draw a rectangle in that level, and the reason why I want to do that is because this level right here is very, very important, because where is the, there we go, there's the rectangle. So this consolidation right here between 28,000, which could be our target price level on this pump higher, up to our resistance level of right around $32,000. You can see this is our previous consolidation. So right now I am finally for once drawing a very clean setup on the chart here, and it should give you a good idea of what we're experiencing right now in the crypto market. So obviously, as you can see by the box that I just drew, this is our previous heavy resistance of consolidation, and we have obviously slipped below that level right in the last few days and weeks, about a 35% from there. And now we're going to be looking right at pretty much doing the exact opposite, recovering back to those levels. Now the key thing, like I said, right, is to not think that we're necessarily going to go higher than that once we reach those levels, because we could absolutely you know, get that move higher, right, climb up into those higher prices, reach those levels, and then just start consolidating in this $20,000 range, right? That is very possible, and actually even likely based on what we're seeing. I will give the benefit of the doubt though towards a more bullish scenario, because we need to consider everything in crypto. Like I said, don't be ignorant and say that seeing $10,000, $9,000 is impossible, but also let's not be ignorant and assume that this was not the peak bottom. Maybe this was the peak bottom, and anyone who is hoping to get lower will be cut out of the deal and will have to pay much higher prices. It is totally just as possible. So this is why strategies like dollar cost averaging can be beneficial in times like this, where you're buying, right, yes, not only at this peak bottom, but also, you know, you're buying here, you're buying here, you're buying here, and you're buying here, and you're buying also back on the way up. So you're getting pretty much a price average, right? You're flattening out that price action by doing that. So that is one of the beneficial things in doing that. Keep in mind that's not financial advice, but yes, it's going to be much less stressful and much more easy to do that instead of trying to time the peak bottoms. And like I said, right, what is possible if we're really going to see both, I would say at that point, the stock market flip back to the upside, but also cryptos, right? If we're going to see both of those flip back to the upside and see bullishness start to come back into the markets, then at that point, right, I would say if that situation happens, when we reach this $28,000 level, of course, we're going to get ups and downs. Maybe we'll go a little bit lower. But if we get back in this good old range up here between $28,000 and $32,000, that could actually lead us to canceling the bear market at that point. and starting to break above $32,000 after some consolidation in this range, if we are able to fully get back in it and hold it, right, which I'm saying isn't very likely, but it isn't impossible. If this happens and we break above $32,000, and honestly, even getting back in this range would be extremely bullish, but any break above $32,000 could literally lead us to starting the bull market back up again as in that point, right? If that were to happen, guess what? Where does that $32,000 level coincide with? It coincides with our previous bottom here during the bull market. So a break above that would pretty much, set us back in this pump territory. If you enjoyed that very, very complete analysis of Bitcoin and its price action, please make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you do that. I want to see everyone do that. And also go ahead and take the time to follow me on Twitter here. I haven't seen any follows yet from this stream. Let's go ahead and refresh it, but please go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're 22 consistent viewers. That makes me so happy, folks. Really, I don't think you realize how happy that makes me. And I will keep giving you the best analysis on Bitcoin and all the altcoins out there on YouTube. And leave a like. Let me know in the comments down below how much you're enjoying these live coverages of the cryptocurrency markets. For those who don't know, we typically cover Bitcoin and Ethereum initially, and then we head into the altcoins. And I like tracking these live, right? I like keeping these open while I'm talking so you can see the live price. Currently, price move higher for Bitcoin. In fact, it really looks like we might be setting up for a little bit of what could be a potential pump here. We still need to get above some of these moving averages. In fact, if we go over to potentially that 4-hour time frame, which just gives us a good indication of the medium term upside, we are above that moving average, the 50 moving average. And in fact, on the 1-hour chart, if we can just see us get past this little bit of resistance here, we have many of these moving averages that are kind of bouncing on top of each other. If we can get above that, right, probably just get above 20,600, 20,700, very high likelihood of us seeing that move above $21,000. And boy, that's going to really cause a lot of hysteria in the cryptocurrency market. We're going to see a lot of price action come back into play, a lot of bullishness, and probably a lot of volume as well. In fact, let's go ahead and do a little bit of a volume analysis here. Now, it's hard to say which time frame I want to go to this. You know what? We're going to stick to the 1-day time frame. We've seen 2 sets of huge volume. By the way, for those who don't know, the volume here is these these green and red lines here at the bottom. So that's what I'm looking at right now. You can see these 2 peaks of massive selling volume that of course coincided with our 2 peak bottoms, our 2 price drops. And that means that we already flushed out twice here on this drop. Now moving ahead, we're starting to see a little bit more green come into play, but it is still, some red, some green, right? We're literally getting one green day, one red day, one green day, one red day. What does that mean? That means we're basically consolidating like we talked about, right? Our overall action is sort of flat, and it's not a bad thing, right? Because in fact, we broke the pattern of seeing the consistent, steady red days in a row. We had this over here with increasing volume, then we reached the peak bottom, and over here, same exact pattern, right? Excuse this messy chart. Hopefully you can still see everything, but take a look at how many days we had in a row. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row, non-stop selling volume on the Bitcoin chart before we had our initial break of a green day, right? So what we want to be looking for here is either a decrease in the selling volume, which we have been seeing, but then we'll want to see a big spike in buying volume as well. That's going to be a bullish sign. Let's go ahead and see in some of the altcoins, starting with Ethereum, if we can see some of those patterns start to show. So for Ethereum, it's actually quite interesting. It's not exactly the same pattern that we're seeing for Bitcoin. In fact, it's actually a little bit more bullish in a way and a little bit stronger in terms of kind of, like I said, signaling that pump, right? We're seeing those early signs of Ethereum seeing a substantial price pump. Some of you might be wondering why I'm saying that. Well, we saw, like I said, our 2 bits of flush out peak selling volume, right? In fact, interesting pattern here for the Ethereum chart. We actually saw less volume here on this first one and more volume on the second one. That's a good sign, right? That means that the second one was likely much more of a flush out than this one right here, and that was actually confirmed right now live, because after this flush out we did indeed fall lower again, whereas now we're starting to see really flat consolidation, if not pushing up a little bit to the upside, right? Want to see this. Hopefully by the end of the stream we'll be above $1,100, and any move above $1,200 will really be very bullish here for the Ethereum price. Now, initially we're going to be targeting this middle Bollinger Band right here. That's sitting at $1,383. So expect that for initial bit of price target, and of course that'll be about halfway to that $1,700 level. But in terms of the volume that we're talking about, right, what are we seeing that's bullish? After that big red candle, we saw 2 huge days of green buying volume, right? And yes, we have consolidated a little bit since then. In fact, you know what? Let me go ahead and draw out this range a little bit. Yes, we did consolidate indeed between then, but we saw those people start to buy back in heavily into Ethereum at those lower prices. And just to compare this even better, let's go ahead and compare that with Matic, which saw that big 60% price move in the last few days. And let's see if there's some indication of what might happen next for Ethereum. And guess what? I didn't look at this before anyone be watching the stream, but look at what we're seeing, right? We're seeing that steady, non-stop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steady days of buying volume now for Matic. That led to its massive 60% pump, and that could be what is about to happen for Ethereum especially, and also Bitcoin, that we'll see about a 30% price pump from its current levels based on my analysis. I'll go ahead and take a look to read the chat here. I haven't been keeping up with it. We've got Iron Lux Trader. Welcome back to the stream. You've been a regular. Thank you so much for your support. He says, thinking about buying 1 ETH, what do you think? Wait for a lower price or good time to buy? Like I said, right, one of the things that is typically one of the safer and less stressful things to do in this market would be dollar cost averaging. Now, keep in mind, Lux Trader, this is not financial advice, so please make your own decisions. I'm just sharing you my thoughts, what I would do personally. I will say, right, this depends on the amount of money that a certain person has to invest. If we bounce back quickly to the Ethereum chart, which is pushing higher as we speak, right now we are extremely low, right? I mean, we're at a, let's see, we're at a massive drop, right? 75% plus from the peak high. So of course, right, if you're gonna buy an Ethereum, you're much better off buying a full Ethereum here than a full Ethereum up here at almost $5,000, right? I mean, think about the upside potential that we have here on Ethereum, folks. This is not some type of weird altcoin. This is Ethereum. It's going to be over a 350% gain from current levels back towards the all-time highs. So yes, buying a full Ethereum right now, you know, probably not the worst time, probably a pretty good time, right? I also showed us on the weekly time frame, and actually I'm going to want to go to a much cleaner chart for this one. And I don't know why I am not seeing my indicators. I want to see our RSI over here. Let's go ahead and pull that out. I'm not sure why we don't have the RSI on this chart, but no worries. We'll go ahead and bring out the RSI chart here. Normally, if it pulls up, let's see. I'm not sure why it's not appearing, but on the RSI, we're oversold. And basically, right, the key thing with that is we've only been oversold a very few amount of times in Ethereum's history. So yes, if there's ever going to be a time to buy a full Ethereum, it's going to be much better now. Like the reason why I said it depends on the amount that you're going to buy is you can buy 1 Ethereum now. If you know, $1,000 is all you're planning to put into Ethereum, I would personally say wait. And the reason for that is you can buy a bit now, but you can also buy if we get those lower price levels. And guess what, right? Let's say you buy half of your $1,000 up here, right? No worries. But if you're able to put that last $500 more towards that $300 area, then guess what? You're almost going to get 1 to 2 Ethereum in that area, right? Just because you held off on buying half and half. So that's hopefully showing you the logic of the benefit of dollar cost averaging. And like I said, please be careful. Please make your own decision. Nothing here is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, just sharing my thoughts based on personal experience. So please be careful out there, especially in these volatile times. Let's see some more. So we have a lot of people that say that they're planning on dollar cost averaging. It looks like, wow, Polly thinking that peak high of around 21 people in the feed. I believe we got a peak high of around 23 people, which is amazing. And thank you, Polly, for being once again a regular on the stream. I really want to do this as often and as regularly as possible and continue our great discussions together with some of our regulars here, such as Iron Lux Trader, Polly, I believe 80 Mayat is also regular. We've got Blue, which I believe is a regular as well. So many regulars that are starting to come in these streams. And it's a great time to celebrate as we break back above 1,100 on the Ethereum chart. Now, let's keep up with some of these messages here. We have Polly saying, do you think we're in a crypto winter? We all know we're already in a recession in the world markets, but if a crypto winter, how long? That's a great question. Well, like I said, right, yes, we could see a little bit more upside. I'm going to go all the way back to the weekly time frame here to talk about the crypto winters. So previous crypto winter, which was, I'll go ahead and draw a triangle here. Now, it kind of depends where you want to consider the beginning of a crypto winter, right? Really, what was truly the beginning of the crypto winter, I would say, was about June 2018. And if I go ahead and draw this out properly, that lasted up until November of 2020. The reason why I said it depends, how you personally consider it is because many other people considered it differently, right? We had some people that might have said, oh, the crypto winter was beginning back here right when Ethereum started dropping, and I wouldn't agree with that, because right when it started dropping, right, only until maybe November 2018, right, or sorry, it depends where you say it, maybe June 2018, people really started to see that we were in a bearish market. And really, right, if you wanted to be more strict, you could say even up until November 2018, once we were really fully flat and people had forgotten, people didn't even care about crypto anymore, really in the peak bottom, that was the crypto winter. It depends how you consider it, right? Of course, we're arguing over semantics. Some people will call the crypto winter shorter if they take the really flat bit, right? That was about also around 2 years, but you could have extended that and that would have been a little bit longer. The thing that I'm trying to point out really, right, with this crypto winter that I drew out here is right now, if we go ahead and compare it to what we're seeing, we haven't yet started to see the true flattening out and the true consolidation. Why is that so important? Well, and thank you for that question, Polly. That's a really good question. So what we're seeing right now, right, you never know exactly where in this pattern we are. Are we seeing this right here? Because our pattern was a little bit different, right? Here we got this double top, basically, and back here we did not get a double top. We got a single blow off top, right? So that was seen by the fact that we got a much bigger wick on that one single candle. Over here, we actually came back, tested it again, and put a head and shoulders pattern. So pretty similar tops, but not exactly the same, right? And that leads us to think, well, was this pump up here, what did it correspond to this little bounce back here, or was it this full move over here, right? We don't know exactly, we don't know for certain. That's why I'm saying I don't know where we are exactly in the cycle. If you want my personal opinion, I think we're in a very similar area as this area right here. So give or take, right, whether you want to consider this pump in already or not, I would say between March 2018 and July 2018. So we're really at the beginning, I would say, of what's going to be maybe one last pump to the upside before really starting to see a very big drop down to $9,000 and then seeing months of consolidation. That's personally what I'm expecting in terms of this crypto winter. Like I said, I still think we could get one very nice big pump higher, right? which is very similar to what we saw back here, but then that we aren't going to manage to hold that, and that we're going to go right back down to put in another crypto winter. So literally drew it out right there, right? Expect that pump, then slipping back lower, and then getting that consolidation in this range, which we talked about, right? And typically that range is going to be a little bit lower than our previous peak bottom. That's why I always said, let's call it between, depending on how you want to take it, potentially even a peak low of $270. I'm going to be nice here and just say, expect something like this, right? Some type of consolidation as such. So if I go ahead and draw a actual triangle to give a live comparison for those who maybe are a little bit newer to crypto, right? Let's call it between $300 and $1,000. I'm going to draw it up to $1,000 probably. That's going to be our range. So something like this, right? We're going to see something like this where it's going to coincide a bit with the previous bottom, but we're going to be higher than that previous absolute low, the absolute drop, right? You can see the overlapping. That's going to be our new consolidation, right? So basically this area right here, right? So a little bit higher to what was in the past our real peak of the crypto winter, right? The real crypto winter that people are referring to, that was in this much tighter range down here between $100, even a little bit lower, and $300. So we're going to see something pretty similar pan out with a couple differences basically. Please keep up with the great chats. I'm going to continue to read this. Would love to see a live trading stream coming from Blue. Absolutely, I will do that soon. I was certain that all of you who have everybody saying that they would love to see a live options trade or a live trading stream. I will absolutely do that. Keep in mind, right, that's going to be more for fun. Of course, I'm going to try and make some profit, but we're also going to go and try to aim for some pretty crazy trades as well. I don't want to do boring trades on stream. Now, what's your thoughts on Matic, mate? Well, I talked about it, right? Matic is my second biggest altcoin holding, Polygon Matic. It's doing pretty well here, finally hitting a bit of a bottom in the bear market. I really should have bought at the lower levels, and I even mentioned on stream that I probably should have been buying at those lower levels. Even right now at 50 cents, I should probably be dollar cost averaging into this. I just don't have that much free capital to spend, and there are maybe some other coins that I want to diversify into, things like Uniswap, things like SushiSwap, just some other coins that I don't have exposure to yet that I'd rather buy right now in the dip. But absolutely Polygon, right? Great time to accumulate and great time to dollar cost average, not financial advice. BTC short or long, coming from Bruce W. Well, BTC short or long, all I can say about that is it just depends on the chart, right? It depends where we are right now. If you're going for a short-term play like I am, I do have a long position open, right? That does not mean by any means that I think that this overall drop is finished. But yes, right, you got to play this as it comes. Would you have want to been long starting here all the way down here? Absolutely not, right? When we got that breakdown of our support level, that was the time to short it down, at least initially down to this $28,000 level. So it really depends on the chart. Like I said, right now in the shorter term, yes, you're going to be much less at risk longing here, right? And then playing this potential upside move, which is panning out right now live since the beginning of the stream, like I talked about, then longing, you know, right when we got the breakdown, right? This is pretty basic stuff, especially if you even wanted more confirmation. I'd say a long above 21,000, as soon as we get that break above it, is going to be pretty safe. I like to enter a little bit early on the hopes for extra gains, but that comes with extra risk. Like I said, not financial advice, folks. He covered Matic a bit earlier. If you want to rewind, yes, I've been covering Matic during this stream, but like I said, right, I do hold Matic. I do think it's a very good coin overall, especially a great layer one coin for the coming decade, right? There's going to be some layer one proof of stake coins that will not stand the test of time, and some that do, right? Now we already have some of our strong performers, really I should say strongly backed VC projects, Polygon, Avalanche. These are very, very strong projects with a lot of backing, and these will probably be around forever in my opinion. In fact, these will probably be Polygon right here, Avalanche, Tron. These are probably going to stay around for decades to come. very, very bullish on these coins. And you know, once again, right, it's a personal decision for everybody, including myself, right? How much money are you willing to lose? Are you willing to afford? Can you afford, right? How much money have you already put into crypto? And of course, all of that based on your overall income, right? It really depends for everybody how much they're going to be able to put in, which coins are they going to buy, right? I can understand someone buying an altcoin, things like Uniswap, instead of Ethereum, just to play potentially higher price percentage move. I'm not saying that's smart, because as we've seen, if there's any two coins to hold long term, without a doubt, it's Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? I've made that mistake before of not holding Bitcoin during the pumps, thinking that I was being smart trying to be in altcoins, and I missed out on major life-changing gains. And I've done that same mistake with Ethereum, right? Now, Ethereum, like I talked about, I also hold Ethereum indirectly through other projects such as Polygon, which is a directly correlated project to Ethereum, and also ENS, right? I actually got an offer on one of my Ethereum name service domains today. It was a pretty sizable offer. I'm going to keep confidential what that domain name was, but I own over 70 Ethereum name addresses, domains. For those who don't know, those are .eth domains, right? It's a really cool project. I actually made a full review on my channel, full tutorial and guide on how to register .eth addresses, and the coin itself behind the decentralized organization of the ENS DAO, which is, like I said, one of the best projects in crypto and absolutely one of the best projects on Ethereum, currently sitting at right below $9 in price, at some pretty good levels here considering its initial launch price and also its peak high of right above $80. Very, very good project right now to potentially get into. I'm looking at accumulating some of those coins as well at these lower price levels. During these times, you're going to want to really look at coins that have true value, right? Avalanche, I've been using this blockchain since this beginning of this bull market, or maybe middle of it, right? And I mean, it's one of the best blockchains I've ever used, to be honest. So that's why I have no problem holding this coin at these low price levels. In fact, like I said, if you were smart right now, probably a great time to be loading the bag, accumulating to lower your cost basis. And the reason why I'm not fearful at all in holding a coin like this is because I think going back to the all-time high is a joke. Literally a joke, folks. I think this is a coin that's going to go past $300 plus, $500 plus, could even reach $1,000 in price point, maybe in the next 10-20 years, because it just has so much value and it's so functional, right? And that's why I would say I probably do, I would say it's a great thing to test out these blockchains, right? If you're invested in these coins, that's fine, but you need to really know what you're using. I've used some blockchains before that I don't like as much, that I don't consider are that functional. However, on the flip side, I've used blockchains before, such as Avalanche, BSC, that I've used before many times, and even Ethereum, that are great and easy blockchains to use. And that gives you almost, you know, free legal insider information on how valuable is this project. Just use it, test it out, and that'll give you a great idea of what to expect. I would love to know in the comment sections down below if you could let me know how long I have been streaming for. I'm not able to keep track of time whatsoever during these live streams, so please drop a comment down below on how long I've been streaming. Also drop a comment and let me know if you have been enjoying this stream. Hopefully you have liked and subscribed. I'm still waiting. Oh, we got one new follower here from the live stream, I'm pretty sure. Welcome, Naz, to my Twitter. Link to my Twitter, by the way, in the description of this video. That's where I give all my live cryptocurrency trading analysis. I sometimes cover charts on there as well, so make sure to check that out. Link in the description. Also check out my technical analysis master course, less than $20, comes with a full 30-day money-back guarantee and covers everything from candlesticks to technical analysis, charting, everything you need to know about technical analysis. We have great reviews from over 236 students. You can also find a link to my Udemy technical analysis master course, link in the description of this video. 57 minutes into the stream. That's amazing. You know, I actually, you know, while we're at it, while I'm asking you these questions, please let me know down in the comments below, how long would you like these streams to be? I think around an hour, give or take, is a great amount of time, but I don't know, maybe you want longer, so let me know down in the comments below. Sometimes it is tiring to talk you know, so fast and nonstop during such a long amount of time. I pulled up the stock market indexes here to see what's happening. So we are pretty flat on the S&P and the Dow Jones, but the Nasdaq is pumping heavily, now up basically a full percent. And that is certainly going to be bullish for Bitcoin, which is now moving higher in that 20,400 range, literally live as we speak. And that's what I was hoping for, right? End off the stream with a bit of a bang with the price pumping. Please do let me know how, oh, people say about an hour is the perfect amount of time. Thank you for letting me know, Blue and Brandon. Thank you, 80 Mayet, for the support. Thank you, everyone who has been in this stream supporting me. We have somebody mentioned, Brandon here, mentioning ARPA USD. Coinbase looks like it may break out. I'm not familiar with that coin, but let's go ahead and just pull that up quickly. Sounds pretty interesting. And let's see. So basically, right, a lot of consolidation here. Definitely looking pretty strong, definitely looking like it bottomed. Also, another bullish thing that we have here, we put in a higher low, actually pretty substantially considering we're dealing with pennies here, and easily looks like it could get back to its 50 moving average. I'd say any move above this level right here could push us back to that 5-cent level, right? So that's any move above about 3.9 cents would pretty much confirm that move to 5 cents as well, which would be that previous blue line. But based on what I'm seeing on this chart, right, we do have a lot of resistance in this area right here, so it's going to be hard to move much higher than that as right now, unless we get a bigger market pump. So we got a great super chat donation by Kumar. Let me know if you're still in the stream. Just want to say a huge thank you. We have Cutie for Blockchain saying hi. Welcome to the stream, or thank you for watching if you have already been here. And with that being said, folks, we're going to call it a day. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Let's finish off with the Bitcoin chart again. Great support this stream. We saw a peak of 23 viewers, which is quite high. Bitcoin still holding steady around 20,400. Just to recap, right, keep an eye on that $19,500 level for a potential slip back lower, and for a potential pump up to 26,000, 28,000. You're going to want to be looking at that $21,000 pretty much flat, or $21,115. Really going to confirm a breakout there if we get above that. We got Brandon C. Thanks. Thoughts on the ProShares inverse ETF? Biddy helping mark the bottom the way the regular BTC. I am not familiar with that ETF. I can take a look at it next time if you don't mind reminding me. Thank you so much for the support, everyone. I'm going to be calling it a day. And I will certainly see you next time for our next stream. We've been hitting great numbers. We've been getting more and more regulars and consistent viewers, and hopefully you'll be continuing to watch me for every single stream. Thanks again for the support, Blue, saying great stream, to keep it up. I will gladly keep it up and keep providing you with the most informative, helpful information I possibly can. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Be careful out there in these volatile markets, and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. You can see everyone's comments there. Oh, we got Johnny as well here. I didn't see any of your comments, but Johnny indeed live with us here as well today. Thank you so much for the support, Kumar, Brandon. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, and I'll catch you soon.